This is super huge! What a big machine! Okay, today's the day.
Welcome to Create Your Own Paradise. We are a world schooling family of 4. Here in this beautiful community called Malama in Portugal, we just finished creating the first part of our little paradise.
Hello! Hello everyone, and ta-da! This week we would like to share with you our little recap on this last 3 months that we've been here in Malama with the building process and how it feels to actually now live in a community. If you remember, it all started here at this spot in Malama, where we stayed with the first month with our caravan. And afterwards, we felt, wow, it's very nice here. We can actually see us living with all these people together in Portugal. We got offered some spots that we checked out several times, like how does it feel, but in the end, this spot where we're now going to, you know it, it was just for us the most beautiful spot here at Malama, and we're so happy that we chose it. It was a lot of work because there was like nothing, and so we had to really start from scratch. I love the spot very much because it's so sheltered. And although you're in the middle of the community, it feels like still like you have this own place, own piece of land in here, and you can just have some me time. And if not, then you can go out, because some parts, you see the people always walking by, passing by. And how we chose to set the caravan in place. For me, it's the best decision we've made.
Yeah, so we got offered this spot, and then of course the first big question was, where are we going to put the caravan? And it took us quite some time because we had some different options. First thing that seemed logical was to put it as close to the mountain, because here the ground is as stable as possible. But yeah, then we would have this view, you know, and we would have space here. Another option we thought was to put it here with the door that way, then we had like a whole room here. But in the end, this is really the best option, because now if you open the door, you have this whole terrace here. The first big job was of course to get the excavator in here, to make it as level as possible. In the end, it wasn't that level, because there was still like a lot of difference, because there was at least half a meter between here and here, and in the end that made it quite complicated to level the support for the terrace underneath, but now it worked. What we learned is we use this stuff called tuvenal, that's the clay with gravel kind of mix. Our idea is to make the ground more solid, because when it gets wet it gets hard, and the idea is that then the water doesn't seep through, but it just goes, because we made also a little incline towards the mountain, so if it rains the water will flow towards the drainage tube that's on the side here. Well, what we learned, you see the pergola, as we call it, the little porch we built. Yeah, this is the main structure actually of the whole place, but it only took us like 2-3 days. And this was the one thing, yeah, also with the terrace where we got some professional help. And that really paid off in the end because we had a guy called Marcel. He was Dutch as well. He had a company here. He has a company here near Lisbon in wood construction. And he just has some tools, you know, and yeah, some really nice tools that make stuff go fast. Knowledge, of course. This part really went quick. This whole roof. The side roof took a bit longer, then we had a bit more challenges. Yeah, what we learned as well when we just put this up, it was really wobbly. If I would stand on top of the roof and I would just lean my weight from one side to the other, the whole roof would wiggle. Yeah, this whole side roof that did the job, and now it's really stable. I can prove it as well. Doesn't go anywhere. What else did we learn?
What else did we learn? That you should use every space that you have in such a tiny house place. And so the idea, having a bunk bed outside on your terrace, yeah, was actually the best ever from all of the other ideas that we had that were best ever. But like, I'm sleeping now since more than a week outside here, and it's just magical.
Cold.
It is not cold. No, it is just perfect. And so cozy, and I can snuggle in with blankets and book. Because of the fresh air, the next morning I'm so happy and awake, and inside I'm like, oh, the air and so God. I really
Lovely,
like
to sleep outside.
Yes, it's really, and with the sound of nature. The downside is that with the mosquito nets, every night the cats are coming to me and they're sleeping on my feet. And because I sure want to sleep through, and not that they wake me up all the time, yeah, I just leave them. But then they, yeah, half destroy my structure every night. But it's still lovely to sleep here. Meet Sophie.
What else did we learn? Yeah, a green roof. Yeah, we never really did a green roof. So we thought in the beginning to use EPDM, but it was not really available here. It's like a really like a synthetic rubber. It's quite durable, can last like 50 years if you cover it well. But then Marcel, the guy who built the roof as well, they came up with this green kind of plastic, also quite thick, and I think it's comparable in quality. And he also had the idea for these expanded clay pebbles, and I think that was a great idea as well. So every time along the whole process, you talk to a lot of people, and then it's like the whole thing fits together. Because also with the idea for the drainage tube here underneath, very clever. Was one guy here in the community has a lot of experience in building as well, Jose. Side roof with the drain, and let's see what happens. Yes, it is working. And then the water disappears to this underground drainage pipe, which is over there. So one thing we learned as well, if you connect your caravan to the water supply, because before it was just a 12-volt pump in there with a little canister, you had to refill all the time, and we thought, no, we can connect to the water supply here, then we don't have to refill all the time. So we did that, and of course there's a lot of pressure here on this system. So I put like a little valve here, so to really have like a tiny pressure only on there. Then one night I got woken up by the sound, and I didn't really knew what it was, but it was just falling water. And I thought maybe Steph is putting water in the toilet, you know, but I said, Steph, what's happening? And then, yeah, there was one T-junction that just popped off. That this T-junction was right next to our solar setup. Yeah, our inverter, which wasn't really cheap, just exploded more or less, and unrepairable. Goodbye inverter. That was one thing we learned always. Yeah, if you connect to your caravan, it can be done, but connect all the junctions that are in there, because that's a really weak point. A learning curve, yes. For me, it was also really cool to experience how it is to build such a place in the community, because that's really like a game changer. It's such a difference if you're just on an abandoned piece of land somewhere in the middle of nowhere.
Now you have the little help of your friends, and you have all the children here, so our children can play when they want to.
There's a workshop here that's just powered, and there's a lot of tools that people are willing to share. Of course, I share my tools as well.
You're not feeling lonely in moments you would on an abandoned off-grid land all alone.
Yeah, that's community living. Our budget here.
Yeah, what did we? How much did we spend?
Well, if you take
So
the
far.
whole thing, including the caravan, where there's already like a solar system, then we're slightly under the 20,000, and then we have everything set. Yeah, of course the terrace, the deck was a huge chunk, was almost 4K. Then the whole roof plus the side build, I think another 6 or 7K. And then the caravan itself, which we bought already. And the caravans really got quite expensive lately because of the COVID, and because of people just want to camp more and be outside. So I think the guy who sold it to me sold it back after 5 years for almost the same price. So yeah, it's a good investment in the caravan nowadays. That was 5,500 euros. The caravan was it's quite a good stage, you know. And then there's a solar system in there which costs about 4,000. So then all in all, yeah, it's about just slightly under the 20K, I think. That's it, guys. Hope you learned something. That was our 3-month tiny house build here at Malama. It was a great journey. Hope you enjoyed it too.
Thank you for joining. If you have questions, you can put them in the comments, and then we're happy to answer them. And for sure,
Oh, you tuned out now. Hit the bell.
hit the bell, subscribe. See you next week.